Alright, about halfway through this thing, I'm starting to hit my stride. All these videos have sucked, but maybe Plinkett will hit his too and give us a banger video for number 4.
Number 6. Invasion of boring.
Oh no.
A communications disruption can mean only one thing: invasion.
It can also mean that you didn't pay your phone bill.
I know it's a joke, I get it, okay? But I have to respond to it because the implicit criticism is that a communications disruption can mean a lot of things. It doesn't have to mean invasion. But look at the situation. The Chancellor's ambassadors are missing, the Trade Federation denies meeting with them, then boom, communications go down. The timing can't be coincidental, and the governor should know that.
So the Naboo seem to be on the case about this thing. The old guy seems to know what's going on. And although they are a peaceful people with no army, this asshole seems to be an expert in the process of planetary invasions.
Expert. Because he knows the timing on the communications blackout is obviously not a coincidence.
So what exactly is the purpose of this invasion?
To start a possibly violent conflict that Chancellor Valorum is unprepared for and incapable of responding to effectively. He is trying to make Valorum unpopular by destroying his reputation as often as possible.
If I may say so, Your Majesty, the Chancellor has little real power. He is mired by baseless accusations of corruption. The bureaucrats are in charge now.
He created those too. The goal for Palpatine is the Republic. Naboo is just a tool.
It's almost like after Lucas wrote the invasion scenes, he didn't really know what to do next, so he thought he'd make the Queen have to sign a treaty to make the invasion legal. I mean, why not?
Because that would make the treaty null and ineffectual. It's to buy themselves time in the Senate and drag out the conflict as long as possible. If they have a bullshit treaty, it might go to court, and
the courts take even longer to decide things than the Senate.
The longer this conflict takes, the worse Valorum looks. This part isn't even complicated. Most high school ethics students could tell you a contract signed under duress is illegal.
First of all, forcing someone to sign a treaty sort of contradicts the purpose of a signature on a treaty. You might as well just forge it if you're going to make her sign it.
Oh, okay. Oh, you already knew that. I mean, I'm a little surprised, but alright, good. Now just go one more step. If the treaty isn't about the legality of the invasion, which we both know is ridiculous, what is it really about? Why would Palpatine actually want it? Probably for the same reason he does everything in the entire saga.
So meanwhile, Qui-Gon, Booze, and Obi-Wan are in the underwater city. Qui-Gon is still talking about warning the Naboo that they're about to be attacked.
Plinkett, you and I both know the Naboo have already been attacked and defeated. They must be there to warn them about something else. What could that possibly be? What information is Queen Amidala currently missing?
Uh-oh.
It's the assassination attempt.
When he really doesn't know that they're actually going to attack them.
What the fuck are you on about now? Of course he knows they're gonna attack them. That's not what he's there to warn them about. They're way too late for that, obviously. But of course the Trade Federation is gonna take over the system. What else could they possibly be doing on the planet that requires an army that isn't an invasion?
A droid army is about to attack the Naboo.
Then since Qui-Gon is jumping to conclusions,
He isn't. The conclusion he supposedly jumped to has already occurred. We watched it happen on the screen. You even played it a couple times.
and making shit up, Obi-Wan starts doing it too.
Once those droids take control of the surface, they will take control of you.
Oh, that isn't making shit up. That's understanding dynamic environments and the effects of an invading army. Then using that understanding to try to persuade another rational creature into helping you for its own benefit.
First of all, the only thing that the Jedis know at this point is that they were sent to settle a trivial dispute about taxing trade routes.
And that the Viceroy tried to assassinate them loaded all their droids onto landing ships, which were then sent to the surface, unloaded the army of tanks and battle droids that they ran away from, and that those troops were pointed directly at Theed. I may have been calling Theed Thule this entire review. My bad.
All of a sudden, Obi-Wan thinks he knows the entire plan of the Trade Federation.
No. He thinks the Trade Federation will control the surface, and then they will subsequently control the oceans. Which is true, unequivocally. The Gungans are stuck underwater. If the droids decide to destroy them and they control all the land, where will the Gungans go? Obi-Wan isn't saying, I know exactly what the Trade Federation is here to do. Here's how they will do it. He's just making the case that the Gungan people won't be safe if the Trade Federation take over, which they won't, and that helping the Jedi is in their own interest, which it is.
How does he know they plan to take control of the surface and the underwater city too?
Yeah, that isn't what he said. Now you're making shit up again. He said by controlling the surface, they will control Gonga SeaWorld. Not that their plan was to control Gonga SeaWorld. Controlling the Gungans is a byproduct of taking over the surface, which they are obviously there to do. They wouldn't send their army down there to do some menial labor or some complex task. They aren't capable of that. They are battle droids, unintelligent, overwhelming in numbers. They perform the same function as the Russians during World War I and II. Die enough that the enemy runs out of bullets, then you win.
Maybe they just want to steal some kind of priceless artifact from the Naboo.
These droids would be less than useless at subterfuge and thievery. If there was a priceless artifact on Naboo that they wanted, invading with an army is a really good way to get the Naboo to hide it away or destroy it so you'll never get it. You probably want to be a little more cautious if that is your goal.
Maybe the Naboo did some kind of horrific act against the Trade Federation and they're just getting some revenge.
That is exactly what they're doing. That isn't contradictory to the idea of taking over the planet. Why can't they take control of the system and humiliate the Queen as a form of revenge?
You and the Naboo form a symbiont circle. What happens to one of you will affect the other. You must understand this.
And what does that even mean?
It means the Trade Federation won't tolerate threats to their control. If there are threats, like the Gungans, even if they're underwater, they will make sure to remove them. It means that the Naboo being put in danger puts the Gungans in danger too. If they can't stand against this force, you probably can't either. It's perfectly reasonable and reflected in all ecosystems all over the planet in the real world, both natural and artificial.
How is a totally isolated city underwater?
Plinkett, in Star Wars, underwater is not isolated. If Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan can swim to it, it's actually relatively accessible. The Trade Federation definitely has a navy of some kind. They wouldn't be capable of waging war otherwise, and they definitely would not be capable of protecting themselves.
Affected at all by the Naboo being attacked by droids on the complete other side of the planet.
Because the Trade Federation is invading the planet, not Theed. They are taking control of the planet by force. That will affect everything on the planet.
Yes, I said the other side of the planet because...
The speediest way to the Naboo is going through the planet core.
By planet core, I assume he means planet core.
Why would you do that? That would be fucking stupid.
Like the center? Usually that's what a core is.
Jesus Christ, Plinkett, the average temperature of the core of planet Earth, which Naboo is relatively similar to in the Star Wars universe, is between 4,500 degrees Celsius and 6,000 degrees Celsius. For my native Burgerland units, that's between 8,000 and 11,000 degrees. That is quite hot. I imagine the Jedi would find it uncomfortable. The chances of them making that journey successfully is pretty low.
Sir, the possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Boss Nass is most likely not recommending they cook themselves in a bath of molten rock.
So they spend 2 hours flying deeper and deeper into the planet underwater.
Right, and then they go into this cave and through a system of tunnels. So isn't it reasonable to assume they call this deep ocean tunnel system the planet core? Because it's so deep and dark, and instead of traveling like this, they instead do something a little bit more like this.
I guess to emerge on the other side of the planet, I guess?
That is a guess. Completely speculative and almost definitely wrong. But it is a guess.
This begs the question, why did the droid armies land on the other side of the planet where the Gungan city is?
See, this is where you're assuming things again. Assuming things that were definitely not in the movie. In fact, you're assuming things that directly contradict what's in the movie. Can you point out for me on the map of Naboo they showed in this film? Remember, there's no third-party stuff. Where Gungan SeaWorld is, and then do the same thing for me for Theed. Oh, you can't? Because they didn't show us that? Oh, okay, that's fine. Just show me where the droids landed then. I'll accept that instead. Oh, they didn't give us that either. They could have literally landed on top of the palace, and you would have no way of knowing. We know the ships that Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon were on didn't, but those are not the only ships in a planetary invasion force. They needed to cover the planet, Mr. Plinkett. The other ships that the Jedi aren't on could have landed anywhere. Anywhere that is strategically necessary for the full occupation, those ships could be. We know that they got to Theed really fast. We also know that they conquered Theed really fast. Much faster than our Jedi got there. That's it. And that makes total sense with everything we know about what is happening in the story so far.
If they expected no opposition, why land in the middle of forests and spend time chopping through the woods so far away from your target?
You have absolutely no idea what their target is. In fact, Gunrate tells this droid to look for the Jedi.
Yes, Viceroy.
Captain, we've searched the ship, and there is no trace of the Jedi. They may have gotten on one of your landing craft.
If they're down here, sir, we'll find them.
Which has almost nothing to do with their strategy for taking over Theed.
Why not just land right outside the city? Or in the city?
How do you know that they didn't? From this shot, it looks like they landed in the forest to collect their forces and march them into Theed, all menacingly. Seriously though, they need to take more than one city. Theed is just the primary goal. The rest of their army is taking care of the other areas.
Anyways, so like idiots, they surfaced the bongo right in the middle of an occupied city in broad daylight. And then Ginny just looks around without any attempt at subterfuge.
This is nowhere near the middle of an occupied city. I'll walk you all through it. Look, so all of the droids are concentrated around the palace, which is totally landlocked on all sides in every shot we see of it. No water anywhere near here. If you don't believe me, go back and watch the movie yourself. The palace is isolated and backed up against this massive sheer cliff. There are like waterfalls and some streams visible way off in the distance, but nothing that could be this port. Qui-Gon and crew are coming from an ocean. It's almost certainly very far from their target. Subterfuge is probably unnecessary here because of the distance they are from their target, and because the city didn't resist, security hasn't been set up this far out yet. Plus, the Jedi are Jedi. They can sense danger. It's one of their things that they do. So if there was danger, they would probably know.
Inside the city, Queen of Manalan has been captured by the Green Guys. But instead of forcing her to sign the treaty right then and there, or keeping her locked up inside the big Capitol building under heavy guard, they inexplicably send her away from them.
Commander.
Yes, sir.
Process them.
First your friends did it, now you're doing it. This is not Padme Amidala. Her signature on anything is about as valuable as your shit-smeared toilet paper is. They will need the real Queen's signature. And she's over here somewhere. Sending them to be processed will probably reveal that. And what danger is there in sending her from one building to another in a city you currently have an army occupying? You haven't seen the Jedi for at least hours, for an entire length of an invasion. In fact, you haven't even heard any reports of anyone even seeing them. For all you know, they're dead, or back on your control ship hiding somewhere. The only other threat would be the people who have voluntarily surrendered to you already.
Remember, this is the most important person in their whole plan.
No, she isn't. First, that isn't the case. And second, the signature on the treaty is just something that Palpatine wants. The Viceroy isn't retarded. Oh. He knows it won't hold up in a court. He just knows he's supposed to get it. He probably doesn't even really know why, but he's not going to ask stupid questions now. He's not in any kind of position to. He's done the invasion. As far as he knows, his part is over. The rest of the plan is up to someone else. The only person that's important to this invasion is Palpatine.
And they sent her to be processed in some place called Camp 4.
Captain, take them to Camp 4. Roger, roger.
Oh, but at least they remembered to send her with a whopping 8 battle droids to protect her from the 2 Jedis that they just discussed they had not found yet.
You didn't tell him about the missing Jedi.
No need to report that to him until we have something to report.
Plinkett, for the love of fucking God, man. Look at where the Shadanarians are in this clip. That is the control ship. This was at least a few hours ago, and probably longer. They staged an entire invasion and secured an entire planet. That definitely took a little bit of time. They weren't just talking about this. That is movie magic that puts these scenes near each other in sequence, but not in chronology. They have no idea where the Jedi even are, and they definitely don't know they're going to be here in this couple-minute window to rescue the Queen and her escort. Even if they do keep her locked up and process her, the Jedi will do exactly the same thing, just inside the keep instead of in this walkway. The Jedi are very good at infiltration and exfiltration. It's one of their specialties.
But don't worry. These battle droids have proven very effective against Jedi Knights.
They don't know the Jedi are here. They have no idea where they are. This group of droids is an escort in case some security forces show up. Not for the Jedi. If the Jedi show up, they're fucked, and they know it. They almost give up as soon as they arrive on the control ship.
What is it? This scheme of yours has failed, Lord Sidious. The blockade is finished. We dare not go against the Jedi.
Viceroy, I don't want this stunted slime in my sight again. This turn of events is unfortunate.
They're trying to handle everything before the Jedi can get there, but they get caught doing it.
Oh, wait, no. You know, it really adds a lot of tension in the movie when the main enemy forces are totally ineffective.
Those totally ineffective forces just took over an entire planet because they are such an overwhelming threat. They aren't made for killing Jedi, but that does not make them ineffective. They are made to be an overwhelming numerical force, and they are very good at wearing opponents down or causing surrenders just by their presence. It just is unfortunate that Jedi are very good at fighting them.
There are too many of them. It won't be a problem.
Oh, it shouldn't be a problem. Oh, now I'm really on the edge of my seat.
Holy fucking hell. The tension in this movie, Plinkett, is not from these guys. Or their droids. It's from this guy. The mystery hologram. Lord Sidious, the Emperor. Creamy Sheev Palpatine himself. Look, Qui-Gon points it out right here.
There is something else behind all this, Your Highness. There's no logic in the Federation's move here. My feelings tell me they will destroy you.
The Trade Federation's actions are confusing and illogical. They threaten Naboo, but not the Jedi. And not the Republic as a whole either. They aren't making any sense, and that makes Qui-Gon worried, and it should worry you as the audience. The droids are not the main villain. We've been over this.
Yeah, Jedi cut them down like they're butter, and they really are pretty useless.
Fuck you.
Nah, you know what? No, fuck you, Mike. Seriously? He is literally telling you that the droids are not the main enemy. That they don't pose a threat to the Jedi, which means they don't pose a threat to the Republic. And you are shitting on this movie and on George for your misunderstanding of the story being told. You're either a fucking idiot or you're deliberately malicious. And you're being fucking smug about it. Get bent.
Number 7. Escape from the planet of boring. Okay, so they free the Naboo Air Force, and then they get on a silver jet thing to run through a blockade. Which again, I remind you, the point of a blockade is to stop ships from getting through. So Qui-Gon Jinn could have very easily gotten everyone killed.
And what exactly are their options? Stand around and let the Trade Federation execute them? I guess they could hide and wait for backup. But no one knows what's happening except the people on Naboo, and their communications are out. It could take weeks for anyone to even notice something strange about the planet, and even longer for help to arrive. And considering the blockade, they might all fucking starve. The planet is low on resources at the moment. Are they supposed to do nothing? Ah, shit, guys. We have a starship that could probably get through the blockade, but the blockade is there. If we try to run it, we might die, so better just sit here and die instead. What a fucking joke of a point. They were gonna die anyway, moron. Running the blockade is at least a chance.
Does anyone smell gin? Hey, it's 11:30 in the morning. Who's been drinking? So no one's really that nervous about running this blockade.
Yeah, it's almost like Qui-Gon specifically asked them if they had a transport that could get them past the blockade.
Do you have transport?
In the main hangar, this way.
Until the shield generator gets hit. Shabams! Blammo! Shabams!
Shield generator's been hit!
Ooh, then suddenly it's dangerous. Hey, wait. Just like knowing what kind of deadly gas it is before you smell it, how does the shield generator get hit while the shields are up?
What a fucking question to ask in the Star Wars universe. Mike, do you remember episode 5? Why isn't the Hoth shield generator shielded too? Seems like a design flaw. Star Wars as a series has consistently had shield generators be exterior to the actual shields themselves. They have always had a thing you can hit that blows it the fuck up. The shield is no different. A small part is exposed and a laser gets really lucky and connects with it. What the actual fuck is the problem here?
Shouldn't it? Oh, fuck it.
Just brilliant work as always. If your question was going to be, shouldn't that be the part that was covered by the shield? The answer is simple. No. Here's a drawing. If the shield is emitted from a point, and the shields work this way, which is how shields always seem to work, then there will always be at least one small weak point at the shield generator. This has been used exceptionally well in the movies so far.
If we can't get the shield generator fixed, we'll be sitting ducks.
Wait, slow down, asshole. Everything anyone says in this movie makes no sense, so I have to keep up here, okay?
What could he have possibly said there? That made no sense. Dear God.
Stop.
The shields are gone.
Okay, wait.
We're losing droids. Fast. Stay here.
Wait.
And keep out of trouble.
Hold on a minute.
There's the blockade.
Hold
If we can't
on.
get the shield generator fixed, we'll be sitting ducks.
Okay, wait. How will you be sitting ducks without a shield generator?
Okay, this is a little pedantic, but if you notice, he said without the shield generator, not a shield generator. Kind of like shields are different, and some are more effective than others.
Are you implying that with the shield generator you wouldn't be sitting duck?
Yes, obviously that is the implication. What the fuck?
That you would be able to breeze through this blockade somehow?
Those are very different statements. Them not being easy to destroy is not the same thing as the blockade not being threatening. The statement is a reflection of the effectiveness of the shield, not of the danger of the blockade. The shield is strong enough to deflect the blockade batteries. The ship is not. They need the shield to keep themselves from being eviscerated.
Doesn't that defeat the purpose of a blockade if any ship with an operational shield generator would suddenly not be a sitting duck and could go through the blockade?
Oh, I did it again. I lied to you all again. I wasn't being pedantic. I was setting up this point. It's not any shield. It's this specific shield. Not all shields are the same. There's absolutely no reason to assume they are. Not any ship can run this blockade. In fact, we know that the fighter Anakin flies in later struggles with a single control ship battery, and with the ATT that snipes at the ships taking off from the hangar. And those ships are shielded too.
Shields up!
Please stop making shit up that isn't in the movie. It's starting to make you look really fucking bad, and it's making it hard to take your points in good faith.
I would think that with Trade Federation ships of that size and quantity, you'd get blown to fucking pieces with or without shields if they all fired on you?
You might, if your shield was shit. This shield isn't though. That's why they wanted this ship.
So anyways, R2-D2 sticks a thing in a thing and fixes the shield generator. Then the dude says,
Deflect the shields up at maximum.
okay, so then that suddenly relieves all the tension in the scene and allows them to escape the blockade. If you'll notice though, after the shields are back up at maximum, they don't get hit again.
Alright, you fucking dickhead. Look here.
That little droid did it!
See that right there? That's them getting hit right after R2 fixes the fucking generator. And you cut that out of your video. You had to, because it was literally 5 seconds before the clip you showed. Why did you do that? To make the film look worse? To make yourself look inept and malicious? For a joke? If you did this to a content creator, everyone and their mom would call you a cunt for taking them out of context. But because it's a multi-million-dollar movie produced by George Lucas, you get away with it. Well, I'm not letting it go. You're an asshole, Mike. And that's a fucking scumbag thing to do. R2 saves the ship here. They get shot at least 6 more times in the scene we see. Any one of those could have been fatal.
So really, R2 fixing the shield generator did nothing at all.
Fuck you.
Maybe it gave him the confidence to escape? So then after they show no emotion at all about the droids being picked off one by one,
We're losing droids, fast.
they inexplicably send R2 up to the Queen to get a pat on the head, I guess. She thanks the little piece of equipment like it's a person. Hey, nobody thanked the ship. I think that did a lot more to help him escape.
The droid has a virtual intelligence with its own personality. A droid is a piece of equipment, but it's an exceptionally smart piece of equipment. You can have a conversation with R2. They bring the droid up to celebrate, and humans have a tendency to personify literally everything. I know you've seen the Ganbate Rumba-san memes. They are paying respect to the AI that saved them. The ship doesn't have an AI to thank.
Thank you, R2-D2.
You see, normal people don't think of droids as people.
No one here is doing that. They are happy they aren't dead. They give the droid praise for a job well done, which it reacts happily to. It is a programmed response, and it's just a way for everyone to relax and appreciate their success.
Even the kind-hearted Luke Skywalker reacts with sarcasm when introducing himself to R2-D2.
And this is my counterpart, R2-D2.
Hello.
You know that that's Luke treating the droid like a person, right? Any reason you don't bring up the fact that Luke treats C-3PO like a person as well? Like they carry on having a full-on conversation about Captain Antilles and the rebellion?
Would a queen really thank a droid?
Oh, and there goes George Lucas getting another one. Queen Amidala is democratically elected. Yes, she is a democratically elected queen. She got her position by interacting with and persuading people to vote for her. She isn't some high and mighty hoity-toity royal who never had to interact with real people. And one of her most prominent traits throughout the trilogy is her exceptional empathy towards everyone. She would absolutely thank a droid for saving her.
I don't know, maybe. Again, this is a film for babies.
Fuck off. This joke wasn't funny when you did it the first time. It wasn't funny when you did it the other time, and it isn't funny now.
I must be frank, Your Majesty. There is little chance the Senate will act on the invasion.
Chancellor Valorum seems to think there is hope.
If I may say so, Your Majesty, the Chancellor had...
Wait, I gotta get this straight here. Hold on. So, at this point, the queen in the middle that's wearing black is the decoy.
Thank you!
But the real queen is Padme, is in the orange, right? Okay. So the handmaiden decoy then orders the queen to go clean the droid?
Clean this droid up as best you can. It deserves our gratitude.
Did Amidala ask to be sent off on a menial task prior to this so she could have a scene where she meets Jar Jar Binks?
If you didn't jump to conclusions and actually just thought about what was happening in this scene, you wouldn't ask so many stupid questions. Do you notice who's in the room with them? It's the Jedi. This scene happens right after Qui-Gon decides to land on a Hutt-controlled planet in the Outer Rim to look for parts.
We'll have to land somewhere to refuel and repair the ship.
Here, Master. Tatooine. It's small, out of the way, poor. The Trade Federation have no presence there.
How can you be sure?
It's controlled by the Hutt.
And right before, the Queen orders Qui-Gon to take this specific handmaiden with him. The decoy orders Padme to clean the droid in front of Jedi to diminish any suspicion they might have of her, or of the Queen. Now you might ask, why does she order Padme and not some other handmaiden? And that's because Padme wants to go to the planet. If the Jedi recognize her as the girl that cleaned the droid, they won't have any reason to doubt she's the Queen's handmaiden. It's really smart.
You'd think the real Queen would want to hang out in the throne room area to stay current on any updates about what's going on?
Okay, so I had a whole bit here about how everyone in this room is already the Queen's eyes and ears, except for the Jedi, and how she doesn't need to be here to be informed. She will be informed anyways. But then I went clip hunting to try to find the scene, because I needed some stills from it. They're fucking impossible to find, by the way, right? And I found out that Padme doesn't leave the room. She stays right here in the corner, standing next to R2, until Qui-Gon stops talking. Plinkett, stop taking things out of the film that are in the film that explain your criticisms. What the hell?
And why did they even bring a dirty droid up to the Queen?
Well, specifically to give the Queen an excuse to order Padme to do something, but also to thank it for saving them.
Did they really think that a member of royalty was going to care that a droid fixed something and then personally thank it?
It saved their fucking lives, you dickwaffle.
So maybe the Queen and the Handmaiden, it's like a little game that they play, you know?
When I'm the Queen, I'm gonna have you go clean toilets. When I'm the Queen, I'm gonna have you die for me in a horrible explosion.
Oh, wait. That happened. I'm so sorry.
The comments on the video really loved this part. What the fuck?
Number 8. I'm gonna slit my wrist. It's hard to stomach any more of this shit.
Oh, I'm right there with you, Mike.
I still don't know who the main character is and why we should care about any of this.
It's the fucking Jedi Knight that saved his Padawan, a Gungan, the Queen, and her entire entourage, and is now taking full control of the situation to try to find a replacement part for their damaged ship. He's almost literally driving the plot forward. What more do you want from him? If you don't care about the story, that's your issue. I care about it. I like this universe, and I'm paying attention to the characters. The story is compelling. It's a little nuanced, and I'm interested to see where it goes. A galactic civil war is pretty high fucking stakes. If you didn't care, you wouldn't have made this dog shit review and demolished this movie's reputation with your vapid retardation. Oh. Yeah, I said it, Susan. Fuck off.
At around this point in the original Star Wars movie, we've been with Luke almost the whole time getting to know him. We see his plight, his hopes and dreams. We feel his frustration, and then his sadness. The slow build-up added depth and emotion and anticipation for the story to expand.
It is a different story with different stakes. Qui-Gon has been on the screen for 95% of the runtime of this movie so far, and you won't even call him the protagonist. Your standard of quality here is fucked. We don't have a slow build of a farm boy becoming a Jedi in this trilogy. We have the rise of Palpatine and the fall of Anakin, told from the perspective of the Jedi Order. Our point of view is an established Jedi, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have things for the audience to connect with. It's just a different set of emotions this trilogy is trying to evoke. We don't have time for a slow burn. The story is happening now, and we're thrust into the middle of it with a full understanding of the end result, but no idea how we will end up there. Watching Palpatine pull all the pieces into place is fascinating. Learning about the origins of Anakin Skywalker, who went from slave boy to finally free to being an outcast from an order that he had looked up to his whole life, is really heartbreaking at its climax.
In the Phantom Menace, we have nothing.
Eat a dick. The galaxy is about to be plunged into a civil war, and the men sent to stop it are the ones who will end up causing it because of their own arrogance and lack of foresight. We have Qui-Gon Jinn, the best Jedi we've ever had. We have Padme, the cunning and caring queen from the shadows. And we have Palpatine and the Trade Federation. There is so much great shit packed into the first 25 minutes of this movie, it's insane. And it's actually going to get so much better from here. The fact that you say there's nothing in this movie is astonishing.
We have a monotone queen who's hiding from signing a treaty that's supposed to do something.
Did you watch the movie? Like more than just one time? Seriously, there's so much in there, I promise.
Why in fuck's name should we care at all? I don't care about any of these characters.
Okay, but I do.
And to top that, we constantly have to question every single action that's taken by Qui-Gon, the wise Jedi.
Okay, but you should be questioning every action everyone takes. It's good critical thinking practice, and it helps you understand characters and motivations better. But when you do question why Qui-Gon does things, it's almost always perfectly reasonable and a logical decision made quickly and in a high-stress situation. He hasn't done anything stupid yet, and most of his decisions have been smart for him and the Republic.
Almost every single line of dialogue makes no sense.
Oh, okay. Well, like what though, specifically? Because I'm following it all okay so far.
They don't want to attract attention.
Is that it?
If you're trying to avoid drawing attention to yourself, then why are you taking Jar Jar Binks into the city with you?
They are trying to avoid attracting attention to the fact that they are from the Republic. Jar Jar is a very easy way to get eyes off Qui-Gon and the Queen because he is constantly making a scene. He's not going to blow their cover. He's going to annoy people. Christ on a bike.
Leave him on the ship.
Where he can break more of the ship. That's the winning strategy here. You see him in the parts shop, right? You want that in your engine bay?
My droid has a readout of what I need.
You say you took R2-D2 because he has the specs and the type of part you need, but yet Watto seems to know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. So what if he didn't? Then you got to trek all the way out and get R2 and bring him back and show him the part. That would be a massive waste of time, wouldn't it?
And you have a thingy that shows it.
What if that thing is connected wirelessly to R2? How do you know that it isn't?
R2 is never used for that purpose and does nothing at all.
How much rubbing alcohol do you think I could drink before I die?
The two most effective, clear-minded, logical guys...
What the fuck?
...stay on the ship and wait.
And guard the Queen. That's an important part that you just left out there.
While the clumsy idiot, the slow-moving droid, a vulnerable, attractive young woman, and a drunk go wandering around the dangerous city.
Oh my god, people love this quote. They eat it up. Oh, it's so good, Mr. Plinkett. Ha ha ha, funny line. Young woman and a drunk. Ha ha. Watch this. The hot-headed, inexperienced Padawan learner and the head of the Queen's security detail stay back to guard the ship in a gangster-controlled territory, while their leader, the stoic and decisive Jedi Knight, the vigilant and dutiful head handmaiden of the Queen, and the clumsy but well-meaning Gungan guide go into a small desert town in search of parts for their starship. Guys, the line is bullshit. It doesn't mean anything, and it's based on nothing. These characters are smart, and they're making smart decisions. I really don't get it.
These two guys probably would have had the part by now.
How would they do it? They have no fucking money.
That's great.
It's gonna be great.
That's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
That's gonna be great.
Peruska?
Cut. Let's try it again.
Wow, this was a banger, but not the way I expected. Fuck this video and fuck you, Mike.